Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Janice Cobham, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari meets governors, EFCC chair, others in Saudi Arabia. INEC cancels INI and Ikono constituency summary. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. A very good afternoon to you and many thanks for joining us once again on the news at 12. First in the news this afternoon, as well as Casino State Governor-elect Diko Rada in Saudi Arabia. According to statements by his spokesperson Garba Shehu, the president on his fifth day of the official visit to Saudi Arabia met the country, including the conclusion of supplementary elections. According to the statement, Buhari said whatever Nigeria has achieved is due to the power of its democracy and the power of institutions, which must continue to be strengthened. The governors commended the president for curbing the threats of Boko Haram terrorists in their states and were happy that peace had been restored. In his remarks, meanwhile, the president has urged Nigerians to emulate the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation, late Bola Ajibola, in commitment and sacrifice for the country. Buhari, represented by his Chief of Staff, Ibrahim Gambari, said this at the 8th day of Fidwa for the late Ajibola held at the Crescent University at Abeokuta. Buhari stated that Nigeria would experience the disease was not only a Pan-Africanist and a world-class legal guru, but a philanthropist who used his wealth to cater for the less privileged in the society. And paramilitary. Speaking during a visit to him in Makkah, Saudi Arabia, by the transitional president of Chad, Mahamat Deby, Buhari described the fight between the Rapid Support Forces as unwelcomed. In a statement issued by the presidential spokesperson Garba Shehu, Buhari also described the fighting that claimed thousands to prevail on the warring sides to stop fighting and negotiate. Buhari acknowledged that the situation in Sudan is unfortunate, adding that Sudan deserved peace after all its challenges. On electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral of the election held on Saturday. The Commission discloses via its Twitter handle. It noted that the process had clearly not been concluded before he made the announcement. According to INEC, the action of the REC is a usurpation of the power of the Returning Officer for Democracy and Development (CDD) has described the declaration of the Adamawa supplementary elections by the Resident Electoral Commissioner as an affront to the Electoral Act of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Reports say the CDD had earlier rejected the results announced by the REC, Hudu Yunusa, noted that the Electoral Commissioner had illegally taken over the duties of the returning officer, adding that the action was culpable of provoking the breakdown of law and order in the state. In light of the commission in Kogi State has declared Nasir Idris of the All Progressives Congress (APC) as the winner of the governorship polls held in the state. Announcing the result of the supplementary election held last Saturday, the returning officer Saidu Yusuf said PDP, who had 360,940 votes. In his acceptance speech, Governor-elect Idris promised to run an all-inclusive government, promising to
of APC 409,940 votes, that Idris Nasir of APC elected.
Meanwhile, former Kogi West Senator Doko Ilona, who had 124 votes, reports say the former lawmaker will be up against Usman Ododo, the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress APC. INEC has cancelled Ikono and Ini federal constituency supplementary elections held on April 15 in Akwa Ibom State following the alleged incidences of violence. The resident electoral commissioner REC in Akwa Ibom, Cyril Omorogbe, disclosed this while briefing journalists in Uyo materials, including bimodal voter accreditation machine system, BVAS devices. We move now to Africa, where the chairman of the African Union chaired an emergency meeting of the Pan-African Organization's Peace and Security Council. The AU also called on the forces of the two generals in charge of Sudan to protect civilians. The union also urged interference that could complicate the situation in Sudan. The evacuation of wounded on the second day of battles that reportedly left dozens killed. The Sudan Doctors Syndicate said at least 5 civilians were killed. Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, peace remains the only feasible choice for the people of Sudan to avoid plunging the country into a civil war. He called for an immediate. We move to the foreign scene now, where the European Commission (EU) has rejected bans introduced by Poland and Hungary on Ukrainian grain imports. The two countries said the measures were necessary vegetables and meat and will be enforced until the end of June. The Commission added that it was not up to individual member states to make trade policies. Still on the foreign scene now, the head of the Donetsk in Luhansk, Ukraine, has reached 15. Krylenko said in a Telegram post that rescuers pulled 5 people, including a 14-year-old girl. The strikes hit apartment buildings, houses, administrative buildings, and a schoolyard. Nottingham Forest. Do stay with us.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
They'll be in there now to the rest of our stories, beginning from our business scene. On business news, World Bank says Nigeria's constant fiscal deficit has worsened the nation's public debt stock, with 96.3% of government revenue spent on servicing debt. Outlook for Nigeria. The report stated that the cost of petrol subsidy increased from 0.7% to 2.3% in gross domestic product (GDP) as low non-oil revenues and high interest payments compounded fiscal pressures. The bank also said that the cash scarcity created by the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN Naira redesign policy hampered the country's economic growth and price boom. The lending institution added that inflation reached an annual average of 18.8% in 2022, a 21-year high, with food inflation in 2022. In business, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) says the recent slowdown witnessed in foreign direct investment (FDI), especially in developing countries, can be linked to the divergent trade patterns among countries, with flows increasingly concentrated among geopolitical aligned countries in strategic sectors. a lasting influence over domestic enterprises, noting that a decrease in foreign investment has been particularly visible, with a global decline from 3.3% of gross domestic product GDP in 2000 have fallen drastically over the years, with inflows falling by 77.79% from 20. Talking health now, the Minister of Health, Dr. Sage Hanire, has said that the bill for he made his position known in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. According to Hanire, the intention is good because it bothers and curbing brain drain, adding that the bill is geared towards keeping those who have studied in the country. A medical practitioner, Femi Ogunremi, has expressed worry over lack of empathy among healthcare providers in the country. Femi, who is the chief executive, the empathy in the discharge of their duties. The medical practitioner noted that one of the ways to deal with the lack of empathy among health workers was to make conscious efforts to be aware that empathy has a significant role to play in service outcomes, adding that awareness campaigns would go a long way. Let's move to sports stories now, where Anthony scored one and assisted another as Manchester United moved up to third in the Premier League table with a clinical win over Nottingham Forest, who missed out on a chance to move out of the relegation zone. The visitors deservedly went in front in the 32nd minute as Anthony tapped home after Forest keeper Keylor Navas had kept out. The win puts United 3 points clear of fourth place Newcastle United and 6 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur in fifth, who have played a game more than the Red Devils. Forest, who could have gone 3 points clear of the drop with a win, stays. Barcelona failed to score for a third consecutive time as they were held to a goalless La Liga draw at Getafe. Rafinha and Alejandro Blade both hit the post in quick succession in the first half, and Barca were on. Rafinha also came closest after the break for the visitors, but his shot from the edge of the area was palmed away by Getafe keeper David Soria with 15 minutes remaining. They host Atletico Madrid next week, with Diego Simeone's side earning a 6th straight. Entertainment stories now, where the highly anticipated Africa Magic Viewers Choice Awards AMVCA nomination list has been released ahead of the 9th edition of the prestigious event. The awards organizers, MultiChoice, rolled out the list of nominations into various categories. The annual event, which by tradition recognizes the entire African continent to its lineup. Reports say some categories are open for the public to vote their preferred nominees, while others will be decided by a panel of judges to be set up by the organizers. This year's ceremony will be held in Lagos, Nigeria on 20th May. Has made known her intentions to become one of the backup singers to the rave of the moment, Asake. The singer, who recently bagged a master's degree from the Oxford University, revealed on her Instagram story that she is considering a new career. She solicited help from the public to enable her accomplish her desire to become a backup singer to the YBNL artist. DJ And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles and ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. My name is Janice Cobham. Do have a great afternoon.